What is up, everybody?
Hi.
Back at it again with another episode of Initial Dweebs. We are at the shop, and we're going to be working on Aaron's Civic. We know it's a fan favorite, and a lot of you guys really watch this channel for his Civic, and we just totally do nothing on it, ever. So
I'm a lazy fuck.
yeah, so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually start working on prepping it for paint. Since we did all the body work on it already, and there's just minimal body work to do, and really what we need to do is just paint the goddamn thing. We're just gonna start getting into it.
Yeah, we really just need to stop being pussies.
Yes. All right, so here's the Civic in its same condition it's been in since we primed it. We did this. We fixed the arches on this side because it was all rusted out, and we ended up welding in. We put in some roundy shit. We bent it up. We put it in there to reinforce the arch. We got rid of all the rust. So it's all good. Basically what I need to do is I got to jack it up, pull the wheel off, and I have to finish cutting and grinding. And then we got to lay a little bit of filler on this because it's a little bit wavy, but barely wavy. Aaron has been working on this headlight panel, and now it's all rusty.
Yay.
So he's got to finish that out before it keeps rusting.
It's almost there. It's mainly just glazing putty, which we have now. We got glazing putty, we got fucking filler, we got hardener, we got gloves, a new spreader.
Yep.
Spread them.
Aaron's sanding off all the rust that accumulated over the past couple weeks on this so he can lay down some frickin' glazing putty.
Yeah, I'm just gonna glaze the entire thing.
Yep, that's the way to do it, dude. Just block it out. I'm over here. I have this jacked up. I'm going to take this wheel off, and then I'm going to get under there and try to figure out what all needs to be cleaned up. All right, the wheel is off. Now we have to get under here and see. I mean, it's been so long since I've worked on this, I don't even know what to expect, so I'm going to look under there and figure out what's going on. So what it looks like needs to be done is that all the welds are still in there. So what I need to do is I need to get the grinder wheel or the flap wheel. I need to come in here and basically knock down all the welds. And then there's this piece right here that needs to be cut out. So I'll knock down all the welds. I'm going to cut out this piece, get it smooth it out here, and then what we'll do is I'll get this down to metal, and then I'll put some filler right here. It's pretty low, so that's definitely going to need to be filled, but nothing too crazy, so definitely we'll get this taken care of.
I am gonna wipe this down with wax and grease and then some mineral spirits, and then I'm gonna put some glazing putty all up over this thing.
Remember, kids, whenever you're using wax and grease remover, you need to apply it with one rag and remove it with another rag, because one rag
is dirty AF.
Yes, the one rag, the wax and grease remover brings all the particulates and dirt and grime to the surface, and the other rag is meant to wipe the stuff away.
Also, if you didn't know, wax and grease remover towels make for great fire starters.
All right, we got the Euro Glaze.
Euro glaze.
This stuff is gonna
smells delicious.
It's gonna be drippy as hell.
Say when.
Mixer rub, layer on. Seems perfectly mixed. Oh, never mind. All right, the glaze putty is on. This whole front piece is glazed out. Obviously, he's going to glaze out the rest of it as well. So this whole thing will be just covered in glaze at some point. And yeah.
I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll do this flap and this little... Oh, I probably won't do the side flap. It seems.
Yeah, you probably don't need to even do these.
No.
They're just the flat parts.
Yeah, I'll do the flat part there. I'll do the flat part in the front face of this.
Yep.
And then same thing with that side there, do that there, and I'll do that once this all dries, so I'm not fucking with that and making a bunch more work to do.
Yeah, this turned out really good. Just block this out and it's gonna be so freaking smooth, dude. All right, so I mixed up some filler, and now what I'm doing, and I also ground this whole arch down, so now what I'm doing is I'm just putting filler over the area that we did the work, and so I could smooth it all down and make it all look pretty.
Filler's not that expensive though.
No.
In the long run.
It's like $33 for a fucking
gallon of
it. And that's it. That's the
sculpting.
Yep. And then what you do is when it starts drying, what you can do is use your fingers and you can feather the edges. It makes it easier to sand once it's dry. So see, like I was able to feather that all in. All right, so I got this filler on there. It is dried up for the most part. What I'm gonna do is use a little bit of this primer paint to create a little bit of a guide coat so we kind of know where the high and low spots are. So basically what you're gonna do is I'm just gonna mist it on there. Doesn't matter if it gets up in the paint because I'm gonna be wet sanding this whole area up into the quarter panel, but there it is. That's basically it. We're gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna use this block, and I'm basically gonna block it out, and I'm gonna do cross etching side to side, and just be really careful to not create any more low spots. I suspect that this is gonna end up being a low spot, and it's gonna need to be filled again. But basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over the whole thing, and then I'm gonna glaze the whole thing, and then I'm gonna go over it after that, and it should be good to go. Down here I'm gonna end up sealing this up later with some fiberfill, or maybe some like panel bond or something, where I did the welds and stuff on the inside, but we don't have any of that stuff right now, so we're just gonna get to what we can with what we have. All right, I have this sanded down and most of the arch is worked out and it's nice and smooth. As you can see, when you sand off the guide coat, anywhere the guide coat remains is a low spot. It means the block isn't, because you're evenly sanding, the block isn't touching this area because it's lower than these two sides. So this is indicating that we're gonna have a low spot right here. So we're gonna have to add some more filler here. We have a little bit of a low spot right there, and a little bit, not too bad there. That could be taken up with the glaze. But then we have this right here. You see this little like nick right here? I have to put a little bit in there, a little bit there. Aaron's working on the world's straightest headlight panel ever with this giant block.
It's gonna get there.
Yep. As you can see, we use the guide coat so you can see where the low spots are. And basically when it comes to something like this, you just stay even, stay patient, and you just keep sanding back and forth, cross etch until all of the dark spots are gone. See ya in 6 hours, buddy.
6 hours or 3 lifetimes later.
Aaron's working on this panel right here, and it's starting to look really smooth. We got a bunch of supplies, wax and grease, paint cups, tack cloth, all the painting stuff that you would need. We're going to basically start prepping the car and getting it ready for paint, and then we're going to put the bumpers on the sawhorses outside, and I'm going to spray some high build on them so those are like more easily preppable. And then yeah, we're going to just get cracking on it because we're trying to paint this thing within the next couple weeks. Casey over here is doing grandpa shit on this.
Yep. We'll install a new alternator.
Casey's been just kind of chipping away at this Datsun 620 that you guys haven't really seen too much on the channel, but this thing is dope, and it's just been kind of like a little project.
Mm-hmm. My grandpa's old truck.
Yeah, he inherited it from his grandpa, which is like kind of like special, and we've just been kind of chipping away at bringing it back to life because it sat for so long.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to touch bases on is we've been in the shop for a lot of years, and we are very grateful for the opportunity to have had this space to be able to build, have all these fun times and build all these cool cars and have this place to store our stuff and have, you know, all our friends come over here and stuff. But that time is finally slowly coming to an end. Well, not slowly. we're gonna basically evacuate the shop. The property owners need it for other purposes, and so we're going, in the next 6 months, we're going to go pedal to the metal on all these projects. The Civic, we're gonna help Jet try to get his car going. We're gonna be bringing, you know, all of our parts, the compressor and the welder and stuff, over to our house, and we'll be doing a lot more driveway episodes, which have their own kind of vibe to them anyway, which is kind of nice because, like, at least we don't have to leave the house and drive across town to do those episodes, and we could paint in our garages and shit. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. So, you know, it's the end of an era, and like I said, we're grateful for the opportunity to have this space for so long, but it's time to move on to other things, and hopefully at some point in the future we'll have a more solidified space to do stuff, maybe buy a house as a shop or rent a shop or something, depending on how this goes. So yeah, I mean, we appreciate your viewership and stuff, and sticking with us through whatever comes. Right now, I am currently working on this bumper. It was covered in shit. It had rusty metal and like something sticky, maybe soda or something splashed on it. So basically what I've been doing is using wax and grease remover, using this Scotch-Brite pad to try to get into the nooks and crannies like in here. Basically, when you're doing a paint job, it's these tiny little spots right here that you miss, that you neglect, and you don't actually scuff down properly, or there's shit in there, and that's where the paint will start peeling up after like a while. So basically what you have to do is you got to make sure you get like these areas, the areas that aren't going to be seen, but the paint will start peeling up here, and it'll work its way onto a visible panel. So that's what I've been doing. I'm just trying to clean and scuff this up and clean all the little nooks and crannies out so that we can make sure that the paint and the primer and everything has a really good bond, and it's going to last for years to come. He's got some Bondo glass.
Glass of Bondo.
What's that for?
Inside of the back fender quarter area of the wheel arch that we did.
Yes. Well, this is to seal it up on the inside and to make sure that no water gets up in there and rusts it in the future.
Because fuck rust.
Yes. So this thing is as smooth gets. It is freaking ultra crisp. This thing is going to be getting a layer of primer today. The fiber fill is for up in here. The back, it's still exposed metal, so we're going to prime that and fiber fill it. And then, yeah, so we're just going to keep cracking at shit on this today. I think Jet wants his car out, so because he's going to be doing some stuff with it, so that'll be exciting. We'll get this thing out. Got to move the 442. I also got some 13s from my boy Danzig. He had some spare 13s sitting around, so we can finally put this car back on the ground and it can actually roll again, which will be nice because obviously we don't have enough room to paint. We're actually going to move this car forward a little bit, wet the floors down, do a freaking half-ass booth or whatever, and we're just gonna spray it. And
floors and ceiling.
Yeah, and
the shit dropping down.
Yeah, and then that'll be fine. It'll turn out good. All right, so I was getting ready to lay down some filler primer, high build primer surfacer. This is the 2K polyester. We also have some primer over here. But basically, they've been sitting for so long that they're completely separated. It's just like these huge globs of like just shit, and I tried mixing it like a bunch and it just doesn't seem to want to go back together. Same thing with this. So these are trash. So basically what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go to Westco and buy like a quart of primer, filler primer, so we can do the bumper and the front valance. For now we have this. I'm going to probably spray this and then we're gonna go grab the primer. Aaron over here is getting ready to lay down the fiber fill.
I think I got it taped off.
He has this tape here, so if any fiber fill comes over, you can just pull the tape off. You don't have to sand back over the bodywork that we already did.
No reason to create more shit to sand.
We're trying to get this shit done as fast as possible.
And there's roadblocks everywhere.
Yep. Typical painting experience.
Typical dweeb shit.
Yep. He's mixing it.
Mixing.
It looks like a pile of green shit. Fiberfill is very hard to sand. I used it in my engine bay on my 8.6, and I got carpal tunnel from sanding the damn shit. It's not even a joke. But yeah, so we're gonna try to not sand this as much as possible. If you can get it super smooth back there, and we don't have to sand it, that'll be awesome. We'll see if the tape help prevent us from doing a bunch of sanding. We got a little bit of sanding, but it's in the good spot. Since both of these were smoked, we had to run to Wesco and pick up this Luma base 4-to-1 primer and activator. We haven't used this particular brand, but considering it's from Wesco, it's probably dope. So let's mix her up. But this is the primer. I'm gonna take this stir stick, make sure that it's all good to go. It looks good. It is thick as hell. I'm actually gonna put the lid back on this. I'm gonna shake the shit out of it a little bit more just to make sure that it's all mixed up. All right, so it's all shaken up, it's all mixed up, and I have this tape right here to make it pour a little bit easier and not get everywhere. I like to use a ladle usually, but this is so small the ladle won't fit. And it's a 4-to-1 mixture or ratio. So basically what you're gonna want to do is pour this amount. So you see the 4-1-1 here. So whatever amount of primer that you put in here, you have to match 1 part activator, which is right there. So it's like if you put 4 up to the 4 right here in primer, you have to make it go up to this next 4 with activator. See how well I can do this with a phone in my hand. This stuff is thick. And it's draining in there as we speak. All right, we got Jet's car out. Now we're gonna start moving on with what we were doing before. And basically this is really thick. So I'm going to put the activator in it, but then we're also going to put some reducer, where's it at? Reducer in it to thin it out a little bit so it sprays more easily through the gun. So when you're in a professional paint spraying booth as such, you want to take certain precautions and you want to set your gun up in certain ways. So what I did is I put lacquer thinner in there, 1, to clean the gun out because I'm lazy, and 2, so I can test the spray patterns. So what you want to do is you want to basically figure out what the spray pattern is, and basically you want to dial it down. I'm running it wide open because that's what we were spraying the basin. That's how we basically spray the basin clear. But right here, this is what changes the pattern, right? So wide open, it's going to have the biggest fan, but if you move this in, like let's say I move it in all the way, the spray pattern is going to be straight, like a spray paint can. So for primer, what you want to do is you want to kind of get like a football. He cooks and he cleans, and this is how we treat him. You're a fucker, dude. Look what you got yourself into. Look what you did! Alright, so Jet's car's running. So we decided, well, first of all, we went to move the thing, and when it was in gear, we went to move the thing, and when it was in gear, it didn't do anything. You can hear the diff and the drive shaft moving. So that was concerning. But when we jacked it up, we realized that this axle on this side had popped out basically like that much, which is enough to fucking make it not work. But we were thinking, well, we're in here, since the back is like 3 inches more dumped than the front, that we're just gonna lift the back. So it's like even. even though the dumped rear is a vibe. It's just too close to the ground. And as you guys have seen in the videos before, is it's really hard to get out of here with those cattle grates up the road. So we're gonna clutch all the way in, put it in reverse. There you go. Now let off the clutch slowly.
Okay.
Until you feel it move. Yep, now give it gas. Yep, clutch in. Now put it in the first.
I'm rolling.
You're gonna want to, yeah, you're gonna want to back up more probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, this thing looks cool.
Alright, back in reverse.
Yep, and then clutch out. You're on a hill, so you're gonna want to give it a little bit more gas. A little bit more gas. Yep.
How's that?
Oh yeah, perfect.